The 2A championship was held on Friday at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. The Glenrock Herders were the number 1 seed from the East with a record of 9-1. Their opponent, the number 1 seed from the West in Mountain View. The Buffaloes entered Friday's game with a mark of 8-2. To say that Glenrock's Tucker Bopp had an amazing game would be an understatement. Midway through the first quarter, he zooms 80 yards down the far sidelines for a touchdown. Trust me, he makes it to the end zone with plenty to spare, and that gave the Herder faithful a real big jolt, with Glenrock now leading 7-0. Mountain View answered a little less than 5 minutes later as Braden Walk goes to Harlan Benedict, who got behind the defense. That's a 75-yard completion for a touchdown to even the game at 7 after 1 quarter of play. Tucker Bopp signaled that he was ready to play as he reeled off a 44-yard run for a touchdown later in the game. Bopp had 28 carries in this contest for 310 yards rushing. So after this play, the Herders were back in front 14-7. Midway through the second, Glenrock broke through again as Ian Arnold will bull his way into the end zone from 5 yards out to increase the Herder lead to 21-7. Mountain View received a spark when Kimball Madsen was in there at quarterback. He was making things happen for the Buffaloes. A 13-yard run for a score as he reverses field and crosses the goal line. So the Buffaloes inching closer, trailing 21-14. On the ensuing kickoff, Peyton Steinmetz will see a free lane, and he is off to the races. Steinmetz returns this kick 80 yards for a Glenrock touchdown. The lead was back up to 28-14, but those were the last points of the game for the Herders. Just one score in the third quarter, and that came from Mountain View as Madsen gets in from 6 yards out. He had 114 yards rushing on 15 carries, so the Buffs back in the game, trailing 28-21. And Mountain View is getting some traction on offense midway through the fourth quarter. Braden Walk with a big catch down the field, and that will go all the way down to the Glenrock 5-yard line. And with just over 6 minutes to go, it's Madsen with his third TD of the game from 1 yard out. So Mountain View made up that 14-point deficit to even the game at 28. This went right down to the wire. In the last 15 seconds, it's Madsen rolling to his right, but Braden Walk is going to drag the other way, and he is wide open for the catch and the touchdown. So the Buffs in front 35-28. And that's the way it stayed as Mountain View wins their second state title in 4 years with an exciting 7-point win over Glenrock. Both teams finished the season with records of 9-2.